Now that you have SlashDB set up, you have access to its data discovery capabilities. Through this automatic data discovery, SlashDB preserves complex object relationships in your database, gives you an intuitive URL scheme, configurable traversal depth, with no SQL code required. You can click into your database here for Northwind. So now SlashDB has created a logical library of uniform resource locators. Conforming to the REST methodology, every piece of data has its own unique identifying URL regardless of whether it's a simple scalar value or complex object containing other objects. So here you can see in the categories table, we can click in. Once inside a table, you can view particular items within that table, such as beverages, via any number of access points, whether it's XML, HTML, XSD, JSON, or a CSV file. For example, we can click into the beverages category here by clicking on XML and view an XML output of that category. And if you notice the URL up top, you can see exactly how that was called. Now say we want the data to come back in JSON, we just alter the URL for that. And say we only want 10 items returned from that. There it is. There's our data back in JSON, and we have the first 10 items in that list. You can also access relationships within those categories. So if I want to see any products that have relationships to beverages in particular, I can click into the HTML file. I can see which products are associated with beverages. And in this way, I can traverse the entire database, exploring the relationships between items in my database. Remember, this process of data discovery is automatically done within SlashDB, so if any changes are made within your database, they will automatically show up here. Now let's take a look at the SQL Pass-thru functionality within SlashDB. This allows you to set up predefined sets of SQL queries that are accessible via a URL. So let's take a look at one of our queries here. If we click into Orders by Country, which is set up on the Northwind database, you can set up any valid SQL query. In this example, I'm setting up a query to pull orders by country. I've defined who the owner is of this query. I've defined that it's public, so users can execute this query. And down below, I've defined the SQL query itself. So now that I've set up orders by country, I want to run it by entering, say, 1996 as the year I want to run and view. And here I have various options for pulling down that data. I'm going to view it as HTML. And here I have access to all of my orders by country in whatever format I'd like. If you take a look at the URL, you can see how great this is. I have this URL string available to me where it's a query of orders by country by year. So now I can call whatever year I like, specifying the year as well as the format. If I'm looking for 1997 in HTML format, I can call it through either programmatically or manually. It loads, and here are my orders for 1997. So in this way, you can set up as many valid SQL queries as you'd like. Another great feature of SlashDB is the ability to add search functionality to your database. Now you can use whatever search engine you'd like for this, but for the purposes of this demo, we've submitted the data discovery page to Google. Now what I'm going to do here is search for our customer, Jack Smith. And here he is. I can click into his record. And then I can also see what relationships are associated with that record. For example, any invoices associated with him. Because your database is now indexable by a search engine, if you so choose, you can make it freely available and indexable by public search engines.